What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a new video. Today we are working on a German car, but it is not an Audi. Hopefully you can kind of see and can see from the intro. We're working on Riley's BMW today because it was misfiring a couple weeks ago and we diagnosed it as a bad coil. But when we were inspecting the spark plugs, because we were going to change the spark plugs as well, there was oil down in 2 of the spark plug holes, and 1 was completely covered by oil. You couldn't even see the spark plug, which indicated that the valve cover gaskets are shot. So, as you can see on the hood here, we have new valve cover gaskets. We also have a new oil pan gasket. However, I don't think we'll be doing that today because of the fact that, well, I just don't know if I have enough time or whatnot, but we'll see. Maybe we will. But we're definitely going to be doing the valve cover gaskets. So, without further ado and without me talking anymore, I'm going to pop the hood and we will take a peek at what we do have to do. I think it should be relatively self-explanatory. I do hope you guys enjoy the video. I know that it is the Audi channel, but today we'll be working on a BMW. So, yeah, let's get going. All right, you guys, so valve covers on this are gonna be a little bit weird because 2 of the spark plugs kind of go under this cowl right here. So we're gonna have to remove this. I believe there's 3 screws somewhere up in here, and we can remove that 1 piece right there. And then I do already have the cover off because we were working with the spark plugs and coils the other night. So that's already off. There's just 2 bolts that you take off of there. And then we will remove the coil packs and the harness for the connectors. And then we'll also remove these probably 13s maybe all the way around. And then this plastic valve cover, I don't know why it's plastic, but that will come off. And then we have new valve covers and spark plug covers to go over there as well. So that should solve the problem with the 2 spark plugs, the oil leaking into them. And then we also have new spark plugs to go in them. As you can see, we did put 1 new coil, so we probably will be doing coils on this eventually, but we're just going to put the new spark plugs in today and solve a couple of the problems. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start removing the coil packs and the harness, and then we can also remove this piece up here and get going on removing the valve cover. Okay, so I removed the little cover for the cabin filter and then the cabin filter itself. Those are sitting over here, so they're just kind of held in by these little spring screw kind of things, and just remove the cabin filter. I'm gonna also open the valve cover here and take a look at what we got. So if I grab my knife here, I'm not very good at doing this one-handed.
Careful with that knife, it cuts you.
You can't be the commentary. If you don't want to be in the video, then don't be in the video. I'm just kidding.
The heck are
so
those?
we have our new valve cover gasket and then our spark plug hole gaskets as well. So I kind of just wanted to match the general shape to make sure it was the right one, which it does look like. It's a really long inline 6, so I think that makes sense. So now we will remove the coil packs.
Oh.
Okay, so I'm going to use my Snap-on light here for this setup. If you guys haven't seen this light, it's actually pretty dope. I bought it from Snap-on, but it's like a 3-in-1. It's got 1 here on the end, a big one here on the inside, and then the smaller one here on the outside. And it's magnetic. It's got 2 magnets. But anyways, so now we're just going to start by taking all of the coils out. So once you pull these up, they kind of push the connectors out, like so. Each one we will remove, we will put them in that same exact order. This is the one we just replaced. As you can see, it does have a little bit of oil on it. So now we're going to have to remove the plenum for those. So it looks like we have a couple T30s maybe. I think that is how that comes out, because they do feel like separate pieces. So yeah, we're gonna start by taking those T30s out and see where that goes. So give me 1 second. Okay, so I've got the electric ratchet with an extension, and it is definitely a T30. So we will take some of these off. And just kind of like so, I believe. And that should just kind of pop out. Same thing with that lower one. And just like so, that cover is off, which it is a little bit heavier than I expected, but we'll slip that out to the side. And then we can remove these coils right here. So now, as you guys can see over here, I have them all laid out in order, 1 through 6. That way we don't lose track of them. Okay, so this just literally unclips from its spot, so don't unclip it like I started doing. Sorry, I'm not a BMW guy, I'm an Audi guy. I'm gonna cut this zip tie right here so we can disconnect this from that combi valve. And now this piece can, oh, there's also 110 holding the ground on, so let me grab that off. So 10 millimeter, never mind, it's an 8. Take your 8 millimeter, maybe it's smaller than that. 7, it's a 7. Oh, that's not what you want to happen. So the ground strap on this is a 7. That was a complete and utter pain because it's sitting on top of this 10 right here, and the 10 just wanted to spin with it. So I just tightened down the 7 on there really well, and then that kind of broke it free, and then I was able to take it off. So now I'm going to take all the 10 mils off. So let's see. There's one, so I do not think that it came with new gaskets for those. They were really loose to begin. Then if we take, I think these are 10s as well. They are. Now this cover can come off. We'll put those covers back in so we don't lose them, as well as the bolts. So that should be pretty much it. As you guys can see, it is loose. It does look like there's one little connector here that we are going to want to pinch and take off. And that might be about all, actually. There's some little, if you guys take a look down in here, you can see there's some little connectors that are sitting in these little metal clips right here. That's all apparently a piece of the valve cover because it's all moving with it. I'm not exactly sure what those are. And then there's this one. And that should allow us to have it free. And about 10 minutes later, you have your valve cover. It's actually still not in bad shape. It's actually still kind of, well, these are the parts that turn hard over time, and they're cracked, as you can see. They're kind of cracked all over. But the outer seal right here is not in bad shape. So we're just gonna go ahead and throw on a new one, clean up this valve cover, and then we should be able to put on our new one. Okay, so as you guys can see, I got them all out. This is still pretty soft. This hasn't even actually gotten hard yet, so I'm wondering if somebody replaced this, but not the spark plug ones. The spark plug ones are really brittle. As you can see, they just kind of break. They all kind of broken pieces. But yeah, really easy to take out, especially the outer one here. Super easy, super simple. So yeah, what we'll do now is just go ahead and go clean the valve cover. I'm gonna go do that. And then I'm also going to put in our new gasket. And then I'm gonna kind of clean the sealing surface around here. Wipe that all clean, make sure there's no residue on there. Put some new gasket sealer. I've got some of that right here. So we will use that and put some new sealer on there. And then tighten it all back up, put everything back together, and that's the valve cover done in about an hour. So you guys can see I do have the new gaskets on there, the blue on the edge and then the ones around the spark plugs. And I also have a very thin layer of sealant all the way around and on each of the spark plug kind of holes right there. So now I'm ready. Go ahead and put it back on. I'm gonna start torquing or putting back on the valve cover bolts, the ones around the edges, but I'm gonna kind of go in a star pattern, corner, 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 just so that it goes down kind of even. So start in one corner. Okay, so we kind of got these middle studs in. Unfortunately, I tightened that one a little bit too tight, so it slightly cracked the valve cover. Shout out to BMW for making valve covers out of plastic. Mine are not plastic, but I'm just gonna be very careful with these ones, tighten them very gently. I tightened that one probably way too much. But then you also want to go around the sides here and kind of tighten these ones down. Also, if it is easy for you guys can remove the secondary air injection, and then you won't have to maneuver around them. So BMW says torque these down to 10 or 8 Newton meters. So I set mine to about 10. It's really light. I guess that's why they were super loose in the beginning. So now there's not really a tightening order, but I'm just going kind of random so that way the valve cover gets the best chance of being as tight all the way around. There's no loose spots anywhere. You guys probably wouldn't even need to check the torque specs. Snug would probably work. Just 10 Newton meters is really almost nothing. But since it is plastic, okay, and just like that, you have one completed valve cover. And we are gonna slap in some new spark plugs real quick, and then we should be all done. Just slap the coils back in, clean off the valve cover up here since there's some oil. And then yeah, we should be all good to go. So I'm gonna do the spark plugs real quick. We'll meet you back up here in a second when we pull out those spark plugs. All right, guys, so as you can see, we are using the NGK Platinum plugs. These are my favorite plugs. These are the same thing that I put in the A4. Probably need to put them in the S8 as well. But as you can see, there are 4 little posts on there, and they're already gapped, obviously. So yeah, just gonna plop these in. I know it's a 6-cylinder. Like I was saying, it was having that misfire. So we did already replace 2 of the spark plugs as well as that 1 coil. I do know you're supposed to do all of them in sets, but just to get it running, because we did have to get it back home, we went ahead and put them in, but wanted to do the valve covers before we threw them all in. So it's only been like a week. We are going to take out the bad plugs and then put in the new ones. So this is actually one of the ones that we replaced. As you guys can see, it's still in pretty good shape. Forgot that that was one that we did. That one actually, the boot from the coil stayed down in there. So let me get these long needle ones I have here. Sorry about light as well. My light died, so I'm kind of doing this blind. As you guys can see, it stayed in there. But now I should be able to take this one out.
I think you replaced that one too, didn't you?
I don't know. I can't remember which ones. And as you guys can see, there's the old plug. There's still some oil on that as well. So just kind of time for some new ones. They don't look too terrible, but again, they have been covered in oil. And luckily, they are NGKs, so somebody did at one time care about them. And we'll go ahead and take this one out. This might have been another one that I already had replaced. Nope, as you guys can see, there's that one. Again, also kind of drenched in some oil. And when we found that the spark plugs had oil seeping down into them, we did suck it out with an extractor and then use some brake clean to kind of clean down in there. And then suck that back out as well. So it is definitely all clean down in the holes now. And just kind of snug. As you guys can see, there's another one that I have already done. That is an NGK. Not too bad. They're definitely not drenched in oil, so that's a good thing. But again, just good to go ahead and replace them. And there's the last one. Again, not too bad, not drenched in oil. Luckily, they will not be drenched in oil anymore because of the new valve covers. As you guys can see down in there, they're pretty clean in all of the holes. That one, there's still a little bit of oil, so I'll probably have to clean that once I get a hold of some brake clean. Same thing, and same thing. So again, now I'm just gonna go ahead and put the coils back on, reattach our wire harness for the coils, reattach all of these components down here into these clips, clean off the valve cover, and then we can go ahead and put that back in like so. And then we should be all good to go. We can go ahead and put that plenum cover back on, and then we are done with the job on the BMW. Now I'm just kind of putting the, I just figured out these are actually the O2 sensors. I'm putting their little wire harnesses back into their clips right there. Same thing with that one.
I don't know how that got in there.
Alright, you're okay. Yeah, exactly like that actually. Then your little nut for your ground. Just kind of push them back on, like so. Make sure connector lines up, and then you're good to go. Just like that. All of our coils are back in. That one's sitting a little funky. We'll have to see how that performs. As you guys can see. So now I do think that we're down to just reinstalling our plenum and then our covers right there. We should be all good. This just clips. Right up in there. This one down here. Like so. And then you have this little cover. Can't remember how it was sitting.
That way, I believe.
No.
No?
Upside down.
Oh. Oh, it was.
Don't worry, those are just little clips clipping back in. Like we were talking, just has those little springs that are very happy to see you. You have how to do a valve cover on a BMW 335 XI. 330 XI, whatever it is. Now we are going to start it see how she runs, make sure there's no misfires or anything like that, make sure there's no major oil leaks. Sounds like it's running really good, no misfiring at all, smooth as butter. No oil coming out of that crack right there that I did, no oil coming out at all. So I think that is a completed job. All right, you guys, don't mind my looks right now, but we did go ahead and finish it up. As you guys saw, it runs great. Runs actually probably better than it did before. So all went as planned. So I just got to put that cover back on, but we still have a couple more things to do. So I will be making future videos with this. We have to do an oil pan gasket, obviously an oil change with that. We also have a coolant leak right here. As you guys know, these are notorious for having coolant. You know, the plastic cooling system. So I believe it's either, I'm hoping it's not the radiator. I think that the reservoir right here is actually broken, so we will have to order a new reservoir and get that. It doesn't leak too bad, but you can kind of see it spewing out over time as it gets hot. We also have this right here. I'm not exactly sure what this is. It says ATF fluid only on it, so I don't know if that is it's probably for power steering. I believe that that's actually what that is, power steering. So I think it needs a new cap. As you can see, it's all shiny around there, and the engine bay is definitely not clean. So that is leaking a little bit. And then we also have to do an axle. So once we do the oil pan, we will do the axle at the same time, because the axle does need to come out in order to do that. So we have that ready to go. We just have to collect a few more parts, but like I said, there will be some more future videos on this. So if you guys did enjoy the video on the BMW, please let me know exactly what you thought. You know, if you're interested, or if you enjoyed the content on a different type of car other than an Audi. Obviously, this is Riley's car, so we will be working on this periodically. So anyways, do hope you guys enjoyed. We will have more content on the way. So stay tuned, like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, share with your friends and family. Yeah, drop a comment, just let me know what you thought about the video. Dislike the video if you didn't like the video. Anyways, I will see you guys in the next video, so peace out.